Hello everyone. This is a short lecture on BiPAP and ventilatory settings. I would like to begin with a slide from the lecture on oxygen therapy. You begin with the nasal prong, you move on to the mask and then the non-rebreathing mask. Once we feel that the patient is unable to maintain the oxygen saturation on the maximum flows of a rebreathing mask or once the maximum potential of high frequency nasal oxygenation has been used, and despite that we are unable to maintain oxygenation of the patient, or there is a steady rise in the PaCO2 carbon dioxide levels in the blood of the patient, now is the time when we think about assisted ventilation. Assisted ventilation could either be non-invasive or invasive, that is, after intubating the patient. We would like to begin with non-invasive ventilation, which is by the use of the BiPAP machine or the ventilator in the non-invasive mode. Before we actually start using the ventilator, we need to know how the oxygen and air ports of the ventilator are connected to the wall mount. When you turn back the ventilator, there is a green pipe of oxygen and yellow pipe of air which are coming out of it. Both the connections need to be connected on the wall mount. There are two types of wall mount available in RCH. One is simply you put it inside, and then once the pipe is inside the wall mount, this part of the pipe is simply pressed and the connection is established. A second type of wall mount which is available has this system. This is the system of the second type of the wall mount. The pipe is inserted into the hole on the wall, and in a circulatory movement, you fix the pipe to the wall mount of oxygen or medical air. Once the oxygen connections has been established, next is the time to switch the ventilator on. There is a small black button which is simply pushed and the ventilator switches on. It takes a few minutes for the ventilator to actually start functioning. Once the ventilator is on, this is the screen which comes. You select the type of the patient. The patient could be either adult, pediatric, or neonate. Here you can see there is a low oxygen alarm. It is because the oxygen is not yet connected. Once the oxygen is connected, this alarm automatically disappears. We need to set the body weight of the patient, and then we need to set the ml per kg, that is the tidal volume we decide for this patient, either 6 or 8. Even if we do not actually change these settings, we need to simply press the continue button and we move on to the next part, that is the calibration of this ventilator. Next, the ventilator asks us to plug the circuit. The exit point of the circuit needs to be plugged, and then pressing this control knob will start the calibration of the ventilator. This knob is pressed and the ventilator is calibrating itself. It is advisable to set the ventilator before actually a patient arises, because you will be losing a few minutes in making the ventilator ready to use. Once the ventilator is switched on, next comes the time of setting the mode. There is a mode button provided. We press the mode button. A range of modes of ventilation is available to us. I would like to begin with the BiPAP or the non-invasive mode. The non-invasive mode is selected. The cursor is taken to the non-invasive panel here, and the control button is set. Now we need to change the settings. The non-invasive mode has PSV or the inspiratory pressure setting, the PEEP or the expiratory pressure setting, the breaths per minute or the respiratory rate setting, and the FiO2. The respiratory rate which comes as a default mode is 6, and so we need to increase it for the patient. PSV is increased as per the requirement of tidal volume. PEEP is changed It is always advisable to start ventilation from FiO2 of 100 and then titrate it down as per requirement of the patients. Once all the settings are done, this control panel is pressed again and the ventilation begins. Now on the screen, on the upper side, these are the patient parameters: the tidal volume of the patient, the actual frequency of the breaths being taken by the patient, and the oxygenation which is being delivered to this patient. We need to change the settings of the PSV according to the tidal volume which we desire for this particular patient. So the PSV is changed accordingly. PEEP needs to be increased if oxygenation of the patient is poor. The usual range of these settings are for PSV, starting from 10, it may go up to 30, and for PEEP we begin with 4 and it may go up to 10 as per the need of the patient. Respiratory rate can be set from 12 to 20 as per the requirement of the patient. Now this non-invasive mode, it requires a non-invasive mask to be connected to the patient. This is the mask which is connected to the patient. This mask needs to be set to the circuit. For this, we need the help of a T-piece. The T-piece is easily available in all the wards in RCH. The connector part of the T-piece is detached and then it is connected to the mask. The other end of this connector is connected to the ventilatory circuit. Here the ventilatory circuit is connected and we are good to go. The mask is fitted tightly on a person's face, checking to see that there is no leak at the edges. This is the setting of the mask. The ventilator is set and we are ready to ventilate our patients. It is always advisable to actually do the settings first and start on the ventilator and then place the mask on the patient's face, because as we know these patients tends to desaturate very rapidly. Now, if we are not satisfied with the oxygenation of the patient, despite the maximum settings of a non-invasive ventilation, or the patient loses his consciousness, or the patient has a rising trend of PaCO2 or carbon dioxide levels in the blood, we need to go for the next mode of ventilation, which is invasive. That means we need to intubate this patient after sedating him. Once a patient is intubated, the type of mode usually selected is the SIMV, or the synchronized intermittent mandatory ventilation mode. Here, the mode is being selected. The mode button is pressed and then the SIMV PSV mode is selected. Once this is selected, there will be a range of settings we need to do. The first is the PCV. PCV is the pressure control ventilation. Pressure control is the inspiratory pressure with which the mandatory breaths will be given to the patient. The breaths per minute are the mandatory breaths which your ventilator will be delivering to the patient if the patient fails to breathe below the level of the ventilatory rate set. For example, if we set a ventilatory rate of 12 and a patient is naturally breathing at a rate greater than 12, no mandatory breaths will be given by this ventilator. But if this patient so happens to be obtunded and the respiratory rate falls below 12, the ventilator will kick into action and start delivering breaths at least at the rate set, which in this case was 12. The respiratory rate is set. The pressure control is set. Next, we move on to PSV. What is PSV? PSV is the pressure support ventilation. That is the inspiratory support which is given to all the spontaneous breaths taken by the patient. Usually, we begin with 10 and then it can be escalated as per the requirement of the patient's lung. The PSV values are to be kept slightly below the PCV values. I'm sorry. The frequency here is set. Oxygenation needs to be set. Usually we begin again with 100% and titrate down as per the requirement of the patient. Once all the settings are done, the control mode is then panel is then pressed and the ventilator starts ventilating your patient. The upper portion of the ventilator again gives the patient parameters or is meant for monitoring. The tidal volume of the patient is shown on the screen. The frequency, that is the respiratory rate, the FiO2 being delivered to the patient. Now, if we are unable to maintain oxygenation of this particular patient, despite the maximum settings, that is the PSV or the PCV has been set to 35, and yet we are unable to maintain oxygenation or the carbon dioxide levels are rising, we may think of paralyzing this patient and moving on to the next mode, that is the volume control mode. The volume control mode is actually one of the easiest to set. Here, we need to set the tidal volume, the respiratory rate, PEEP, FiO2, and we are good to go. Pressing the exit button actually makes the machine move into the active mode after a standby mode. The volume control mode gives us the option of VT or the tidal volume, the frequency or the respiratory rate, PEEP, and FiO2 or the oxygenation. Each parameter is set as desired and then the control button is pressed so that the patient's lungs start ventilating. The problem with the volume control mode is that the ventilator will tend to deliver whatever volume we set in it despite the pressures, that is the pressures in the lung. So there is a possibility in a bad lung that a high pressure alarm will be visible. Why? Because the lungs are bad, and in order to generate this amount of tidal volume, the amount of pressure which is being generated in your lungs or the peak airway pressure actually exceed the allowable limit of 40. That is, above 40, the risk of barotrauma is high. So this happens to be the disadvantage of the VCB or the volume control mode. But what we can do is we decrease the amount of tidal volume being delivered till we reach a pressure, the plateau pressures which are acceptable for the patient. And in order to maintain the minute ventilation, we can increase the respiratory rate and thus achieve an acceptable level of PaCO2 or carbon dioxide in the patient's blood. So with this, we come to end of the lecture on how do we set our ventilator and the BiPAP machines. Thank you and all the best.